Hello everyone. My presentation today will be on outdated technology in public offices. At least in my office, outdated technology is a common factor and can include things like computers, printers, software such as having to unfortunately run Windows 95 still, or a very old version of Adobe, phones, and much more. This can make a difference in workload because newer technology may make things easier, but I also think it's psychological and employees end up doing less because they use the outdated technology as a crutch. So even though they really could use Windows 95 to complete something pretty quickly, they complain about it being too slow or being not the quickest software, and they end up getting things done slower than they could have. My three ways to make a change are motivation, incrementally change, and to plan and budget for the future. The first thing to do is to help motivate employees to work efficiently even with the outdated software. And we can apply Mary Parker Follett and Frederick Taylor. The second thing would be to incrementally change the technology. And we can apply Charles Lindblom and Herbert Simon. The third thing would be to plan and budget for new technology. And that would, of course, be Gulick. So the first thing to do is to make the best of the situation now. All technology will not be magically replaced overnight. Managers must have a good relationship with their employees to be able to motivate them to work to their highest potential even without the most up-to-date software and technology. We can apply Mary Parker Follett by making sure employees know they are taking orders from the situation. The manager does not have complete discretion over the budget, especially imagine your line manager in an organization really can't help everyone get new computers. And they are likely working with the same outdated software that the employees are. And so they can let the employees know they are bound to the same situation together that they are both taking orders from. Once everyone is on the same page, we must help employees best use the outdated software because maybe they are not using it to its full potential. Maybe there's a better way to use Windows 95 than the employees are using it, for example. Frederick Taylor says we must gather all info and knowledge in order to find the best way to get the job done, even with the outdated software. And then once the most efficient way to work with that technology is found, Follett says orders do not take the place of proper training. Proper training and teaching employees is also crucial to Taylor's scientific management. So both Taylor and Follett agree that employees must be properly trained, and that hopefully they will be more efficient with their new software. Taylor's final step of scientific management calls for equal division of labor, which coincides with Follett's idea of power sharing. Follett says power must be seen as power with rather than power over. And Taylor's equal division of labor will help ensure there's less hostility, frustration from employees, and they can work more efficiently with the outdated technology. So there are many reasons why technology will be replaced piece by piece and not all at once, including budgetary, there's simply not enough money to do that, and also not wanting to overwhelm employees with new software and systems. Can you imagine having to learn how to use a new phone, a new computer, a new Adobe, a new Excel, etc. all at one time? It would be hectic. Lindblom's Science of Muddling Through introduces us to incrementalism and shows us that policy changes slowly. Many decisions require us to use successive limited comparisons where analysis is limited, and the test of a good policy may just be good enough. And large changes will only happen after a series of small steps. This is helpful because if something goes wrong, as in they buy the wrong type of Adobe software, or they buy the wrong type of computers that can fit the Adobe software they need, all they have to do is replace the computer and not replace the computer and the software, because they wait to buy the software until they see if they got the right computer. So if they wait and do things incrementally, it can easily change if something goes wrong. I think it's appropriate to make incremental changes in this situation, because small changes one at a time are not only practical, but also the only possible decision, because managers cannot analyze every single type of computer, type of software to consider for the best price, and more. Can you imagine a manager spending all his time deciding between the merits between a Dell and an Asus computer? That's simply a waste of their time, when likely both types of computers would do the job that's needed to be done. Lindblom tells us that kind of rational decision-making is rarely to never possible, and simply not practical. This also fits Herbert Simon's bounded rationality, because they must be okay with making an okay decision regarding which software to buy, because they would likely all work, and they do not have the time to analyze every option. Simon says there are many things that may limit a manager's ability to make that best decision, including his mental processes, the values that influence him, his internal knowledge, and more. The manager will have to make a decision that's satisficing to him, as Simon would say, that's not that he may not think knows is the best decision, but is the best he could make right then. Then, managers must decide what must be replaced first, which leads to my next bullet. It will be the manager's responsibility to follow Luther Gulick's POSDCORB in implementing this new technology. POSDCORB is planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, reporting, and budgeting. Gulick says there can only be one manager, and I agree that they should only be taking orders from one person. They cannot have someone telling them your needs are more important and we'll get your technology first, when another manager is telling another unit that exact same thing, and because that will only create hostility and confusion. There should only be one manager in charge of this process. Although I do not think that POSCORB is all a manager is responsible for, I believe they have other duties. I do believe that these are important duties that a manager must do, especially for this situation. So the manager will have to coordinate which technology must be replaced first. Gulick says division of labor is important, and which division will get new technology first is a big decision to make. They will have to budget for all these new costs, plan for implementation of new technology. Like I said, they must have a solid plan, or too much at one time could be harmful to the employees. And then they also must plan for maximizing performance using old technology, as I mentioned in my first bullet. So in conclusion, there are 3 ways that I recommend that government offices can address their outdated technology. That includes motivating employees to work hard, even with their outdated technology, incrementally changing technology in the workplace, and planning for outdated technology and budgeting for new technology. Thank you.